oh, that looks rad.
Whoa!
They probably had the discussion, somebody going like, it doesn't look as real, and somebody else goes, I know, but it's for children, and they want a big red puppy.
Oh, that's so cool. Dude, people's minds must have been blown.
The tech they use in this is also the tech they use for the Matrix bullet time.
Huh?
Big thanks to Root Insurance for sponsoring today's episode. Stick around to the end to see how you could save up to $900 on your car insurance.
Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Visual Effects Artists React. Today, we've got a very cool guest. He's right where he's...
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up,
Clint? Welcome back.
How's it going?
Dude, you did that fall with the can?
Yeah, it was from way up there. You guys gotta get that whole patch.
Yeah, what are you doing on a roof?
Just seeing what's up.
Well, we happen to have a spot we needed to fill for VFX Artists React. Thank you for joining us once again.
Absolutely, it's good to be back. It's been a long freaking time. It's good to see you guys.
Yeah, probably not reacting to a lot of new VFX shots from classic films that we know and love. I figured maybe we could do a little bit more of that.
Did you guys ever read the book Clifford the Big Red Dog as a kid?
No, I didn't read the book, but I occasionally caught the PBS cartoon.
Oh, that's right, it's a cartoon. Well, now it's a movie, and it's coming out this fall.
You may not believe it, but there is magic all around us.
So, it starts off with the little small doggy, and he's cute.
Aw.
It's a very red dog.
Oh, watch this. Ready for it?
What? That's all it took. The tear of Norphin.
Clifford?
So what are your gut reactions when you see this dog?
It's actually really pretty good. The CG looks really solid, but it's just very clearly like an animated CG character in the scene.
Yeah, I think the problem is the fact that it's so uncanny. Just by the nature of it being an off color like that, it's going to tickle our brains in a weird way of like, something's off.
I feel like they're doing a touch of post-processing. He's already red, but I feel like they're kind of committing to having him be 100% tinted red, because like his shadowy areas should become less saturated. Some of the shadow areas should not be red. Same with some of the highlight areas, they wouldn't be red. And I think they're just basically going, all right, everything that's within the bounds of this dog's outline is going to be red.
It's not Clifford the big kind of red dog. It's Clifford the big red dog. It is very red.
They probably had the discussion, somebody going like, it doesn't look as real, and somebody else goes, I know, but it's for children, and they want a big red puppy.
The overall red is slightly on the desaturated side. I think they went the same route as like doing the Hulk in the Avengers movies, where it's like slightly less green.
The physics of the dog's ears are very well done. The floppy ears and like the way they actually kind of like hold the structure, it's really well done.
I think at this point, CGI has got it down where they can do a big red dog and have it look great. It's probably just having it blend with the people around it and interacting with the environment. Okay, well,
that shadow actually didn't look that good.
Yeah, right there.
That's pretty rough shadows.
It's just the painted shadows.
But look at the Zorb.
The Zorb is probably added in too, actually. Look at the trees in the background. The trees in the background are establishing what color your shadow should be, and the color under Clifford is not that at all. Now notice how like under his feet, the shadow's not getting darker as his foot gets closer to the ground. There's like a little bit of it, but it's kind of just one flat dark color. And also notice how the feathering of that shadow doesn't change correctly with the perspective of the ground.
It's uniform. It's a uniform feather.
This is an example of good shadows. Nice general soft shadow, but also see how there's the really dynamic dark shadows right under his feet where he's making contact. And it follows the geometry of the ground correctly. It's matching the shadows under the Zorb, and it's matching the shadows in the background. This is probably a really early shot. They probably don't have a shadow pass, and somebody went in and just like did it by hand really quick for the trailer. They're not going to finish a shot to 100% completion when it's still up in the air, like what the animation is going to be, or does it work with the scene, are you getting the proper character? And you know, they probably wanted this sequence for the trailer, and so using something that's like, this is close enough.
Yeah, it's always important to note that you can't harshly criticize the effects in a trailer because they're not finished.
I think at the end of the day, though, the filmmakers have just kind of embraced that this is a cartoon character.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to look real, and because of that, like this piece is going to be entirely dependent on the writing, the characters, and the story. And it's not really dependent on how good the visual effects are. They just need to be good enough.
The moral of this story, I think, is that people expected us to roast this, but it's not bad.
It's not bad. It's a big red dog. It looks great.
It's not bad in what we would roast. It's trailer footage, since I don't want to be like mean to people for putting their half-finished work in a trailer. Like, yeah, it happens all the time.
It's not Sonic, and they did fix Sonic.
Enough kiddie-friendly stuff. Let's go to a horror film from 1933. Welcome to The Invisible Man from 1933. This is a film that was recommended in the comments earlier when I was asking about old VFX.
He doesn't look very invisible to me.
Well, he's wearing clothes.
Oh,
Wren.
yeah, clothes are not invisible.
All right, I'll show you. There's a souvenir for you.
Oh my God, that'd be terrifying.
And one for you.
Oh,
So
Wait,
terrifying.
hold up. How are we seeing through to the back side there?
Oh, that's so cool. Oh my God. Dude, people's minds must have been blown. Dude, I love how he chucks his bandages at them. Like, oh, what is this stuff? Invisible stuff.
The thing that blows me away is the very beginning of the shot when we can see through his nose and eye sockets.
No, it's a puppet thing.
Yeah.
And there's like hands coming up and interacting with the puppet thing.
Okay.
And you can tell because like his head doesn't rotate at all. It's just locked looking straight ahead. And his arms are moving, but it's like...
Yeah, that's the only reason I could tell.
Yeah, people's bodies don't move that way. And also the weight is too light. But then we cut to another shot from behind and he takes off his hair and suddenly there's no head there.
Oh, it's transparent. The bandage is transparent.
What does that mean? He's wearing a bald cap that's tied down really tight or something?
It's basically just another old-fashioned green screen trick, and it's extra apparent because they can't paint back in the other side of his bandage. So he takes the bandage off. Now we should be able to see the other side of the bandage, you know, and like right here, as he pulls the bandage off, you can see where his head is obscuring the bandage right there. There's an invisible gap where the bandage is now behind his head and it's blocking it.
And then it reveals as it comes around the shape of his head there.
So here's how they did it. First they record the background with, you know, the actors reacting to nothing, but it's all timed up very specifically, and then they used the exact same set, and they draped black, I think vellum over everything, or basically velvet. All those little tufts of black capture light better, because it's not a flat surface where light can bounce off, it's a bunch of like fingers, and so light comes and goes bzzz, and bounces through all those little fingers. And then the actor himself is actually wearing a black velvet head mold, and then the elements on top that aren't black. I mean, he's still wearing a black suit, but it's not like black velvet, it's still picking up some light.
Him being invisible is him just being completely void of light.
Right. Then what they do is they take that film shot of him and they make it super, super high contrast. And you end up basically with a cutout. But it's not a perfect cutout because, you know, there's still parts where there's shadow and things like that. So then somebody goes into the paintbrush and they fill in all those little holes on that piece of film. They end up with 4 pieces. They have the background plate, the high contrast plate, the inverse of the high contrast plate, and they finally have the actor himself, which is filmed without the high contrast. And then you get your final exposure.
Dude, that would take days. Now, in After Effects, that's like 2 clicks.
They're having to match 2 different cutouts like a puzzle piece. Whereas today we have layers, and so we don't even need to do the second part of that. That's why it blows me away that we don't see the track matte lines more frequently, because it's like you have to line it up literally photon perfect in order to not have like a tiny black line. You see that a lot in older movies anytime they're doing some sort of effect like this. But this is still nonetheless a really cool visual magic trick.
It's so cool.
So Wren here has just had surgery on his shoulder. So for every subscription...
You knew it wasn't that one, so okay.
For every subscription that we get to this video, Wren gets 1 more cell added to his bones when they heal. Let's get Wren back to 100% health and get him at least 1 million new germs. Sorry.
Germs!
Cells, 1 million new cells.
He's germy enough.
Anyways, the point I'm trying to make is I'd just really appreciate it if you'd subscribe if you enjoy this channel. Thank you.
Chevron 1 is holding.
Have either of you guys seen Stargate?
No.
So I've not actually seen Stargate. This movie was recommended online because the portal is actually pretty sweet and there's a really fun story behind it.
Oh yeah, give me those graphs.
It's off the charts.
Give me those ancient UI designs.
All right, you ready for it? You ready for it?
Not the symbol.
Sequence complete. Oh, that looks rad.
Whoa!
That looks great.
So that portal effect was pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was rad.
And the guy who came up with it got fired twice for doing it.
Yep.
So Roland Emmerich directed this, and he hated visual effects. He thought everything had to be done practically with miniatures, in camera, and so when they were trying to R&D how this portal should look, he was hating everything, rejecting everything they tried. Jeffrey Oken, the visual effects supervisor on this movie, ended up kind of accidentally discovering something really cool. He had figured out basically a way where you can look at the underside of water, and it has like a cool rippling effect to it, and so he was setting up this tank of water and filming it from down below. They poured in a bunch of like iced tea, and the mixing up of it actually created this really cool vortex. And I'm like, oh, I think we're kind of onto something here. And Roland Emmerich was like, that's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. You're off. You're fired.
You're fired!
What? They had the rest of the day, and they're like, well, I guess let's just keep playing around. So then they took an air compressor and it made that little
initial blast? The initial blast?
That initial blast of the portal opening is literally just a bunch of air being thrown down into a tank.
That's so cool.
And then he went back to Roland Emmerich and showed him that caploosh shot, and he's like, You're not fired. This shot's excellent.
So are they keying out the like solid color of the water around that water blast?
Well, he also came up with what's called the periwinkle effect, which is a way to blue screen stuff underwater.
Oh, really?
And then for the actual ripple of the portal in a stable opening, that is CG.
Okay, that's the only part that I was like, eh.
And then from there, it's just simply a matter of compositing into the shot, and it works really well.
It's so good. It feels very special, very unique. So he got rehired because he's like, this is sick.
Yes.
But then how did he get fired again?
There's another shot later on where the dude actually goes through the portal and then he's like transferring over to the other galaxy or wherever it goes, and Roland Emmerich hated it and fired him on the spot. And then I guess rehired him before the end of the show. I don't know. Roland Emmerich kind of seems a little intense.
And temperamental.
Yeah. This ended up becoming a staple of every single episode of Stargate. There are seasons upon seasons of this, and this exact same effect was used every single time the portal opens.
I love using natural phenomenon to like get cool effects.
Yeah, that one was recommended in the YouTube comments. If you got any other cool shots, leave a comment down below.
So speaking of recommendations from the comments, here's another wonderful one. What Dreams May Come, starring Robin Williams in the greatest year for cinema ever, 1999.
The plants are like oil painted.
Yeah.
We say things look painterly, but this literally looks painterly. Wait, what the?
I love how he's like kind of grossed out by it, but it's also very pleasant at the same time.
So you might be surprised to find that the tech they used in this is also the tech they used for the Matrix bullet time.
Huh? Wait, you're talking about like the multi-camera spinning thing?
Yep.
Wait, what?
That makes no sense.
There's something called optical flow, and this is one of the first implementations of it. What optical flow does is it looks at the frames in your video, it tries to track pixels and how they move through the scene. So with every pixel you have a vector saying that it's moving in this direction. You can then put stuff on top of it and have that stuff flow and move with the directions of the pixels. What they did here is they filmed all this footage on real sets with a bunch of like extra colorful flowers and stuff that they added in. They 3D tracked their scene, and they put particles all over the scene, and those particles were little bits of paint swatches. And they pinned all those particles to points in the scene, and then what they did is they used optical flow to then flow those particles through the shot as things like move and brush in the wind and whatnot. It's really, really ingenious. It looks super cool. So how does this all relate to The Matrix? Well, the same visual effects company was trying to figure out how to do the bullet time thing, and they're like, okay, what if we did a bunch of cameras in a circle? We're like, well, it doesn't give us enough frames for smooth motion. So instead, let's just take all those frames, run an optical flow pass so we can kind of try to figure out where those pixels have moved, and then we can just do smears in between those frames to create the interpolated frames.
Almost like a morph, you know? Like
Exactly
two
like a
frames.
morph.
I feel like my most common use for this is to make choppy slow-mo look like smooth slow-mo.
Yep. That's the most common one. In fact, the first plugin to ever allow us to do that was a plugin called Twixtor. And Twixtor was made by the people that made this effect.
Okay, interesting.
Really?
They won an Oscar for Best Visual Effects, actually, in the same year that The Matrix came out. The Matrix probably should have won it, let's be honest.
Wait, okay, yeah, you're totally right. We're talking about 1999 being the best year of cinema, and this is the movie that won the Oscar for Best Visual Effects?
Yep.
I'm gonna be honest, it looks all right. It's like, really? They put all this work into that? For that? Okay.
Meanwhile, The Matrix is still everyone's favorite movie 20 years later.
Or Fight Club,
Oh, Fight Club, that's right.
which also came out in '99.
Yo, Clint, so you recently did a really cool community render challenge. I gotta be a judge for it.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Tell me a little bit about that and what's coming next.
So I challenged the 3D community to create the coolest render from a prompt that I provided. The results were insane, and probably by the time this episode comes out, I'll be knee-deep in the third community challenge, where I'm challenging you guys to basically take a ball from point A and build your own contraption and get it out the exit from point B. And I'll stack them all together, and it's gonna make the biggest Rube Goldberg contraption.
And we actually made our own submission. We made a whole zombie murdering machine, and the video about that comes out tomorrow. Stay tuned.
Come along with me. I'm gonna be walking you guys through my process. Every Saturday I'm doing live streams.
Yeah, if you're watching this episode basically right when it drops, chances are Clint is streaming right now.
Come on back and learn some VFX with me. It'll be a good time.
You might notice this set is from the regular React show, but today it's been taken over by the son of a dungeon production. But that's not why I'm here. I'm here to talk to you about this man over here.
Oh, hey, what's going on, Jake?
Hey, Matt, how did last week go?
Not so great. I got into a car accident. It actually was not my fault.
Well, that's good, because courtesy of today's sponsor, Root Insurance, I could tell you about how you could save up to $900 a year by getting rates based primarily on how you drive. So I'm here in New York City to tell you guys about the way that root and whoa! Hey, slow down there, buddy. God, this is a perfect example. People are driving crazy around here. They should have really bad rates because they're a risk to other people on the road. But guess what? If you're not, you could get a much better rate through Root Insurance. It's actually pretty simple. What they do is they take the information based on how you drive, just like a regular maps application does, and they use that to say, hey, Timmy over here and Monica over there, they're driving great. Tim and Monica shouldn't be penalized just for being young, right? So Root bases their rate primarily on how they drive. So for all you safe drivers out there, consider checking out the link in the description below, because with Root, you can start your test drive today and you could save up to $900 a year just by driving around. I mean, you're already doing it. Anyways, huge thanks to them for sponsoring this episode, and hey, I hope you guys save some money.
Man, that was fun. Clint, it's good to have you back on the couch. You should come by again sometime soon.
I absolutely will. I want to come back for a Stuntman React episode because I got some good stunts.
Sweet. Did you see me jump off the roof?
Oh yeah, I saw you jump off that roof. That was amazing. I was so jealous. I was like, I want to jump off that roof. So freaking cool. Thanks for giving me the call and having me back on the couch.
I'm glad you could join us. It's great to have you back. Go check out Clint's channel if you miss him and want to see more of his stuff. YouTube.com/Punisher.
Now you guys ready to play some Smash Bros?
Of course.
All right, let's do it.
Yes, all right. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next week.